How's it going, everybody? Jason here, founder of Lean Change, and today I'm going to go over how you can use NotebookLM in your change projects. First thing you need to know about NotebookLM is it is by Google, meaning you will need to have a Gmail account or a Google account to be able to access it. So let's just do a quick tour of what this tool is capable of. So the first thing, when you create a new notebook, you'll notice you can upload sources. And at the time of recording this, you can upload up to 300 pieces of data. So that can be PDFs, text files, audio, MP3s, whatever you want. You can also connect it directly to your Google Drive. A couple of restrictions is you can only share your documents, PDFs, or slides. Right now, it can't accept Google Sheets, but hopefully that will change in the future. You can also attach any website. It will scrape the text off the website, or if you put in a YouTube URL, it's going to grab the transcript. And then you can also copy and paste random text. So you can throw an enormous amount of data at this, and what its strengths are is in summarizing data and as a research tool. So if you're creating a notebook LM, say on a topic, you can click the discovery button, and then you can find things from the web, or you can find things from your Google Drive and just get a random sampling of data here from NotebookLM as well. So that's the long way of saying you can put a whole pile of data in there. The capabilities are a little bit limited when you compare it to, say, Claude projects or GPT projects. So you have minimal configuration options here. You can leave it at default for general research and brainstorming. A learning guide, this is better for educational content, and custom will allow you to put up to 500 characters of custom instructions. Now, I say that's a limitation because if you're comparing this, say, to Claude projects, which has similar functionality, Claude projects will allow you to have unlimited sized instruction sets, which is pretty cool. And the other configuration option is you can have default responses. You can make them longer or shorter. So you're pretty limited in how you can configure this thing. The real magic comes in what you can create with it. So you can create audio overviews, videos, explainer videos, quizzes, flashcards. So for example, one of my kids who's in school right now, they think AI is cheating, so they don't use it to get answers, but they do use it to create practice tests. So they'll dump information about their classes and learning objectives, lessons that they've taken, and they'll generate quizzes from it, do the quizzes, and then upload it for checking, which is pretty cool. Couple of other options, analytics, you get to see how people are using it, and obviously since this is a blank notebook, you're not going to see anything right now, but I'll show you an example in a second. If you want to keep your notebook secure, you have to share it with people who have a Gmail address. Otherwise, you can leave it completely open in public, and anyone who has the link will be able to access it. But if you want it restricted, then you are limited to using Gmail addresses. So let's take a look at how we use this inside of our AI and change cohorts. So I upload images of all the actions and activities that we do in our Miro board, and then also the text transcripts, and then a bunch of other goodies. We just finished the first session, so there's limited information in here. But this is pretty cool. I can say, tell me the key concepts taught in session 1. So it's basically going to play back from its data sources. Now it knows session 1 because I've labeled the file and the source here as session 1. So when you're adding content to NotebookLM, it's important if you're adding images or PDFs or documents, name them in an appropriate way, because you'll be able to ask things like, suppose I uploaded the evaluations from a previous cohort. I could say April 2025 cohort evaluations. Then once this class is finished, I can upload the evaluations from this current cohort that's running, and I can say what's different. And imagine you have an ongoing kind of workshop partner training tool. So if you're doing a bunch of business readiness or go live stuff for some type of enterprise change or some enterprise training, as long as you have date stamps on those things and you've named the files in a meaningful way, you can say things like, tell me what are the 3 most important things I should change about the next training session. Then you can try those. Again, upload the transcripts, look at feedback, and you can say, what specific to the 3 things that I changed for this workshop, is there any feedback related to that? What's better? What's different? And then you can kind of see where this is going. As you're adding more context and more information to it, you almost get a running timeline of how your course or your workshop has evolved over time, which is pretty cool. So I'll create a couple of things quickly just to show you. One is when you are creating videos, make sure you click on the pencil, because if you just click the video overview, it's automatically going to use all of your sources in the overview. But if you click the little pencil button here, you will be able to choose between explainer and brief, and then you can add some custom instructions here for what you want to create. So the one that I created was, can you create a brief based on all of the terms and the 4 core concept model that we talked about in the course? And that's this explainer video here. And if you want to skip this, you can go to the timestamps down below to get into the wrap up. But here is the overview video that it created.
Today, we're boiling down the key insights from a workshop all about using AI for real-world change. If you're feeling kind of lost in all the AI hype and technical jargon, trust me, you're not alone. A big fear that came up in this workshop was job security. It's on a lot of people's minds. So what if there was a simple way to make sense of it all? Let's dive into that right now. It's a framework called context engineering. It's all about getting way better results from any AI. First up is the prompt. This is literally just what you're asking the AI to do. Simple as that. Next, instructions. Think of these as guardrails, the rules of the road you give the AI. Then you have the LLM, or large language model. You can just think of this as the AI's brain. And these brains can be really different. Someone in the workshop put it perfectly with this quote. And the last piece, maybe the most important, is context. This is the unique info you feed it. And this is a total game changer. All that old stuff you have, it's suddenly AI gold. Okay, so that's how you talk to AI. But where should you actually use it? Good question. Let's think about your work in 2 buckets, stuff that's just for you and stuff for your team. See, as you go from your work to teamwork, the rules and guardrails naturally start to build up. This model gives leaders a way to build a smart AI strategy instead of just banning it out of fear. So here it is, a simple 2-step plan. Master the 4-box model, then apply it strategically. So AI isn't here to replace you. It's a new team member. The real question is, how will you lead it?
So that video I thought was pretty cool. The voice was very expressive. I mean, you can kind of tell it's AI generated just because, it's hard to tell what is created by AI and what isn't these days. But it sounded very natural, and just thinking of all the concepts that we talked about in session number 1, it got all of that from the session 1 transcript, and it also read the fact and the myth and the overview stuff from the content that I put in there as well, which is pretty cool. And the last thing that I'll show you is, as you're interacting with the chat here, you can create video overviews, audio, and mind maps from the chat that you're doing, and then any response you get, you can save it as a note. You can give it feedback, obviously, and then you can copy and paste the text here. So if I wanted to create a summary of the fact and myth document for April, this is the response, and you can see that it's quoting the source it got it from. This is the one thing that's annoying, is you can't use images, so I had to take screenshots and then output those as a PDF or print them as a PDF. So it will quote the sources, but now I can save that as a note, and it's generating a note here, and I can rename this, and I can use this as a source, and I believe I can also export this. So if I look at this, I can copy and paste the whole thing, and I can convert this to a permanent source. So now my fact and myth source is over here, and then if I wanted to, I could get rid of some of these PDFs to clean that up. And then if I didn't like that, I can remove that from Studio just by deleting it, which is pretty cool. So definitely check out NotebookLM. I think it is an extremely valuable tool to use in a change context, because you get up to 300 pieces of data that you can use. It will take PDFs, it will take documents, it will take transcripts, YouTube links, random content. So you can throw a lot of stuff at it, which is great. You don't have to worry about cleaning your data or putting it in a structured way. And the only drawback is that because you can't use Excel sheets or you can't use Google Sheets when you're connecting that to your Google Drive, you'd have to print those as a PDF or just select all the text and then paste it as a text source. So hit like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews of AI tools that can help you in a change context. Thanks for watching.